It's 1955, so that would have been Hank Aaron's second year. The card now is 71 years old, but just for it's graded a 5, so it's not, as good, but for it getting a 5 for a 70-year-old card, that's pretty tough to get from that era.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Overtime Cards podcast. I'm Tate.
I'm Dawson.
And today we're joined by Tanner. He's been on the show before. So Tanner, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on the podcast today.
No problem. So right in front of you, as you guys can probably tell, we got some vintage cards here, and some of them are of big note. So Tanner, just tell us how did the shop get our hands on these first off?
Yeah, so I mean, we're always getting collections in, right? And it's so cool. And every now and then we'll have people who come in with vintage stuff, and it's just so cool to, hear stories about it, hear how they came across it, hear just where they were sourced from, whether they had it as a kid or they collected as a kid and then got into them later on in life or rebought them later on in life or whatnot. There's so many different stories behind them, but we had over the last couple months and, last few weeks, we've been lucky enough that some pretty awesome vintage collections have come in that just have so much variety and so many big names in it and Hall of Famers, the stuff that kind of moves the needle now of just what's popular in the market. So
yeah, exactly. So are all these from the same collection or are these different ones?
There is, outside of one of them, I know the Chamberlain one was a different collection.
Okay.
I think all the others came from the same guy who just collected them. He graded a few over the years, and then
that's crazy.
That Wilt Chamberlain card is so crazy.
I haven't seen that one ever.
Isn't that one cool?
Yeah, Philadelphia Warriors, that's sick.
Yeah, that's always one I think is massively underrated. Just being, it's like he has 2 rookies in that set. This is the second one. The other one goes for quite a bit more than this one,
really?
But they're both rookies and just both such a unique piece of basketball history.
How old is that card?
That one now, they printed it in 61, so it's about 65 years old.
Wow.
1961 Fleer basketball.
Have you looked at it outside of the one touch? Does it look like it's in good condition?
This one, unfortunately, isn't. It's a little bit off center, and then the corners are a little roughed up. That set specifically, that was always a problem with the centering.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to find those ones in good enough shape to get nice grades. So this one's not in the best, but it's still in a decent enough shape where it's awesome to just have in the shop to show off.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, talk about how rare it is to actually see these cards come in, but then obviously they're slabs, so that means they're real if they have the PSA slab on them. But tell everyone watching how rare it is to actually have these cards and have them be the real deal. Yeah,
so I mean, getting stuff like this is just it's getting more and more rare just as time goes on, because more collections from this era, your 50s, 60s, even the 70s now a little bit, are starting to get more rare to come across. And I think that's just due to, people are cleaning out attics, and over the years they've had that chance, so back in the 90s, early 2000s, you would see a lot of 50s and 60s stuff because, say a grandparent, they passed them on to them, or aunt or uncle or something that grew up in the 50s or 60s, passed it on. Now we're getting to the point where the people who collected in the 50s and 60s are way up there, so there's not as much just sitting around that's undiscovered. So it's getting more rare to find stuff like this. And then another part of that is, and we can use the Wilt Chamberlain one as an example of it, but it's just the condition of it.
Yeah.
Because something like that, it's 65 years old. Same with these other two. This one's 72 years old, so that's a little bit older. But the condition is such a huge thing with these cards, because more than 90% of them you see are probably closer to the Wilt Chamberlain's condition, where if you got them graded by PSA, they're probably a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, they're just rough.
So to get things, the Hank Aaron, that one there's a 5. The Ernie Banks rookie, also a 5. It's just so rare to find cards from that era in that condition. And there's so many different reasons behind that, whether it was just, kids collected them for the most part 70 years ago. So they weren't keeping it as a collectible. They weren't putting it in cases like we do now, where you top load it in penny sleeve. And so they were just sitting around, and
I mean,
it's, you know, literally next to impossible to find cards that would grade out maybe 7s, 8s, or 9s from the 1950s or 60s.
Yeah.
What did they even put them in to protect them? Like binders back then?
I mean,
like from the 50s to the 70s, like what they didn't
it was
have.
literally a shoebox.
That's what I thought.
That's where the term shoebox comes from, with the ones that people use now.
Yeah.
Is from the shoeboxes kids would put them in back then.
Yeah.
So,
because there wasn't anything manufactured for card protection, because cards weren't
really
big back then.
yeah, not really, from what I've heard. It was just you put them in there, or you put them in a bag, a paper bag or something. We've had them come in that before.
Yeah,
or we've had people who switch them out in the 80s or 90s and put them into a binder at that point, because that's when the protection started to become more pronounced and people cared about the values of it. And, you know,
Right.
so yeah, back then it was just, you kept them, either just played with them and got them destroyed, or if you were one of a select few, you just got them, collected the set and put it in a box and hung on to.
Talk about that Michael Jordan, the value on it, and just the rareness of that one, because that obviously is going to stick out to anyone that's looking at those 4 cards.
Yeah, so I mean, that's obviously one, like, between these guys, that's probably your most well-known and just the guy everyone can recognize.
Yep.
But that card it's technically a rookie, 1986 Fleer. This is one of 2 cards he had in the set, and probably the one not as many people know about, because the 86 Fleer had the one where it's a super popular, like, picture. He's jumping through the air, his tongue is out.
Yeah.
It's like the sought-after rookie card. A card like this, I really think it's like one of the hidden gems of vintage, like, basketball cards. The Michael Jordan sticker rookie from 1986. And that's due mainly in part just to the rarity of this compared to the other.
What grade does that one have?
This one got an 8.
Wow.
So
That's the highest grade I've ever seen.
A very good grade for a sticker.
Yeah.
And with that, like, with getting an 8 is very, very tough for 86 Fleer. That also was kind of before the era of people protecting cards a little bit.
Right.
For at least for a few more years into the late 80s. But the sticker itself, these ones would fall, 1 per pack. And I think per box, you got like 36 packs in it. It's a 11 card set. So if you open a box, chances are you might get a few of them. But the stickers were so much tougher condition-wise compared to the regular cards. A lot of them were miscut. A lot of them were just, kids honestly would pull them off because it was a sticker back then. It wasn't really the sought-after card as much as the regular rookie was. So these ones technically, well, not technically, they are the rare one, because if you look at the population reports, there's about 31,000 total graded of the regular Michael Jordan rookie. And of that 31,000, there's about, 7,000 to 8,000 8s that have been graded. Where if you look at the sticker, total 8s, there's only about 4,000, a little less than that. So it's like twice as rare to find the Michael Jordan sticker rookie in an 8, even though there's about the same number total graded between the regular one and the sticker. So the sticker in itself is just so much more rare to get in good condition. It's amazing that these things have still stayed relatively affordable for the high grade that they are. Just
right. What about that Hank Aaron? I know that one's crazy. And that one got a 5 as well with the Ernie Banks, but
that would be, it's 1955, so that would have been Hank Aaron's second year. The card now is 71 years old, but just for it's graded a 5, so it's not, as good, but for it getting a 5 for a 70-year-old card, that's pretty tough to get from that era.
Yeah.
70-year-old.
And these ones too, a few of these, like these two, the 54 one, which is his rookie for Ernie Banks, but the Hank Aaron too, those ones were a jumbo cardstock. So those were a lot tougher to keep in good shape, because if you had them lined up to, say something from this era, if you had them like lined up in your box or something, the top or the jumbo ones would always stick out a bit. So the edges would always get more frayed than the other cards. So those were just so much more tough to find in good shape. So getting a 5 is pretty amazing for that era.
Totally.
5 in general for a 1955 card is amazing.
Insane, yeah.
What are those other ones you have there?
I just pulled out a few others here, and it's just a few other cards that I think are pretty iconic, and they're in nice condition, nice grades. These ones came in the same collection that these others came in.
Gotcha.
So they were just some awesome cards. We got the second year Johnny Bench, graded a 7.
Pretty good.
You've got the 1956 George Blanda, graded a 7. That's another cool one because
cool.
Same as these two.
Really
it's a jumbo one. And just for who he was, being a Hall of Famer and playing, 26 years in the NFL. So he's one of the I think he is the oldest player ever to play a game. He has the most career games and so many other records. But
26 years is crazy.
For it being
alive.
Just all the history behind him.
Too.
It's such an affordable card just to find in a decent shape like that. Like it's less than $100 for that card in a 7.
Wow.
Which ungraded, that card is like $15. So it's like those are impossible to find. And then another cool one, just another NFL legend, Mike Ditka. I think it's always cool seeing the football and like the basketball stuff. It's kind of almost a similar reason to where the sticker and the regular Michael Jordan rookie are. I think these are massively undervalued. The football and like basketball from the 1950s and 60s, it's massively underrated. With this, George Blanda, he wasn't the greatest, but meaning like, Bart Starr type level, but he was just a Hall of Famer. And for his card in the 7 to be worth less than $100, that just seems shockingly cheap for how rare those cards are to come across. Yeah. And same with like the 1965 right there. Those are just so rare to find vintage football and vintage basketball from those years. So every time we see those, I just am in awe of, how cool they are to come across. We're maybe once or twice a month we'll have a decent sized vintage collection come in, but I'd say over 90% of them are like strictly baseball cards. So it's very tough to find football and basketball, at least around here in Utah.
Yeah.
But even in general across the country, football and basketball just isn't very prevalent from that era. So yeah, we have all these cards and they're all available in the shop. So you're welcome to come down, check them out, come ask questions about them. We love to tell the history behind them and just talk sports with people. So yep, they're available in the shop if you want to come look at them, and we'd be happy to show you.
Yep, for sure. Well, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe and also, follow the Instagram so you can see the cool things that we get into the shop from collections, not just what we pull, but and the product that we get in. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.